what about it kind of still like turns you on about the work, like motivates you, gets you kind of excited, and you know, like what's interesting about it to you?
Yeah, I think just the variety and the sense of that, I feel like I know a lot and I know my craft, but there's different ways that you can apply that. So it may not always be in the same industry or the same client or the same situation. So that's what I like. And I've come from, education / recruitment and then more aviation. And then some of these clients here at Native, it's a lot different. It's a lot unique challenges. So I like that in the sense of that, yes, I still know what I'm doing, but you have to apply it to this client or this industry that might be new to me. So I like that about it. It's always something new, or there's always something to be learned too, I guess. With digital, it's always changing and there's always other things to stay on top of. So it never really gets boring in that sense. You might feel like you're getting comfortable, but then the next day something could happen or come up that's going to be a big change in Google or whatnot. And you kind of have to react to it and be, understanding to change and all of that. So I think that keeps it interesting and fun throughout the years. And you can always continue to learn more. And that's really, I guess, my favorite thing is I like learning a lot. I was a big school person and I really enjoyed school. So I just like to be challenged and learn new things.
All right, I'm going to give you a hypothetical, and I don't know how you're going to answer this, but let's say you are in the client seat and you're going to hire a team to, you're stuck on paid search. You can't figure it out. Like it's been in the same spot for like a year or two. You can't really quite you've tried different things. Nothing's really working. You're not really moving the ball on it. Mm-hmm. And you're talking to one team that has really deep experience in your particular industry. That's all they do. They don't get outside of it ever. And then you're talking to one that has worked in your industry once or twice, but then they've also, you can see that the team that they've built is coming from different categories and they've even got different clients. Mm-hmm. If you're in the client seat, do you have a preference? Do you see equal pros and cons to both, or do you have a strong preference towards one or the other?
I see pros and cons to both. However, I think sometimes when you're super niche in one industry and that's all you don't necessarily deviate from that or want to try new things because you think that every client in this industry kind of follows this sort of thing. So I guess my point of view would just be are you doing everything for every client that you work with that's in, whatever space, healthcare, whatnot. That doesn't necessarily, just because they're in healthcare, means it applies across the board. So I think you could get sort of stuck in your ways of, well, this is what we do for everyone and this is the industry always knows, so we're going to just continue doing that. Whereas if you have an agency that's in a bunch of different industries or has a lot of other experience on their team, they might have new ideas to bring to the table, or, hey, I tried this in recruitment and here's how it could apply to this scope. And then that's just different ideas and more perspective.
100% agree with you. And I know that you and I both have worked at places where it's a very tight vertical, right? That's all you do. And then we've worked at places where there's a variety. And I've always liked a variety because I think it's more interesting. I think it's cool when you pull a learning from one industry and apply it to the other and it works or doesn't work, but you keep trying those things. And I think if I was in the client shoes, I just want the smartest people. And it may be the specialist, it may not be. But what I've also noticed is that the specialists don't have to hire the best because they've already got the playbook. So they can get by with kind of lesser than. So it's almost like sometimes the sharpest people go to the variety because it is interesting to them and they have to use their full brain, to work on it. I mean, do you agree or?
No, I agree fully. Especially from, I guess, the industries that I came in that were more set, it's definitely a big difference and more challenging, I guess. I mean, it's not like it's hard or I can't do it, but it's working your brain in a different way that I don't think you get if you're just always doing the same thing. I felt really challenged in just the interview process at all. So I was like, okay, well, this is what I'm looking for. I'm wanting to be challenged and I'm wanting to be around really smart and educated people that, can push me to be better and get me to think of things in different ways and not just me being in person making all the decisions and not having anyone else to collaborate with. So that really stuck out through the interview process.
Well, now you're here and there's probably going to come a day where somebody might be asking like, hey, what would you say about this place? I see a job opening. Like, what do have you thought through like how you would try to characterize us to a friend who might be interested?
I just think it's a bunch of really smart people. I think it's unique in that sense. Just anyone that's on a different department or a different team, they just really know what they're doing and they're talking about. And I think we just have a lot of really special and educated people, and that goes a long way. I think also just really like I don't know what the word is, but maybe the caring or the interest. Everyone, we may have different things we like to do outside of work or whatever, but in the end, we still all care about each other. And that's really, shown through that it's not just we're here to work and that's it. We care about what people are doing and how they're feeling and that sort of thing. So I think that stands out a lot too. Even when I was in the office, the culture was really great, and there's music playing and it's loud and there's people talking, and coming from previous places, that wasn't always the case. It'd be more dead silent. People have their headphones in, and that's it. So I definitely have liked all of that about Native.
Do you think it comes through in the client experience? Do you think our clients sense this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I don't have, I have less client experience overall, but just the ones that I've jumped in on so far, I think they really appreciate us for that reason. Working on Audible, for an example, they just, they really like us and they like the ideas that we bring to the table. And I know we talk a lot about the listening piece of things, but I think that's something that's really stuck through with them specifically, just because, they had an internal team and they were just kind of doing the same thing, and kind of coming to Native was able to bring a fresh perspective and also different questions of, hey, have you thought about doing it this way? Or here's what we hear you saying with, having a big challenge of having 300 different websites. How do you manage this? And here's some new ways you could look at it, or here's some ideas. So we all care about that. We want the client to get the best results. And, even if down the line, they wanted to go someplace else, they would at least be in a better spot than they were when they started. And I think we all care about that enough that it's not like we don't get in our way, or like, we just are kind of, we want to help the client, and whatever happens in the end, we're doing the best for them that we can. And that's what matters more than anything else.
Yeah, you said the same word that Nick said just a second ago. So I don't know if you guys have been sharing notes on this or not, but he's like, he goes, everybody here just cares more than places I've worked.
Yeah.
So I love hearing it,
Yeah, I don't know. It's really different. I don't know how else to explain it, I guess, unless you've been in other situations. And I guess my situations haven't always been the best. So it's probably why I notice it more. But, even with being remote, I still feel really close to the people on my team and working with them, and that they still care. So I think it's been great overall.